Hi, everybody. This is the Creativity Show, and today we're going to do more about the fun and functional, fantastic art of stenciling that we can use so many different ways, like these golden mums on this robe and these 7 outfits here. It's so fast and fun, and I just want to share that with you. There's so many different things we can do with stenciling, and we're going to be sharing. I think there's 33 different ways I've used stenciling in the Emerald Lady, and the uh, clothes are just one way. There's art, wall friezes, there's platters, there's vases, there's furniture. There's so many things I've done with stenciling. And Bodhi,
Yes,
the script,
absolutely.
and we're going to show you if we have enough time today. If not, we're going to show you a tour of the Emerald Lady and the many ways I've used stenciling to make this house, our home, workplace, more beautiful. So
You'll just have to give me the heads up if you want to do that, because I will then capture the footage on the computer.
I think we'll show that next week because we have so much to show today. But come back next week and tell your friends, and we'll have a tour of the Emerald Lady and show you all these different ways I've used stenciling in our home workplace. So the benefits of creativity. During these Saturday live streams, we'll explore imagination and how we can increase our connection to it and the ways we can get more comfortable expressing and sharing it. There are many benefits to being more creative. The greater our connection to our imaginations and expressing it, the more resources we have to enhance our lives, create beauty, purpose, problem solve, enjoy ourselves, and experience joy and serenity. Creative expression can be healing. Art can be a respectful and safe way to express any emotion. Any emotion we express stimulates our immune system, making it an economical way to heal. Being creative can be a joyous and frugal way to enhance our lives in so many ways. We will be sharing 52 different creative categories here in the Emerald Lady that will be scrolling at the bottom of your screen right now. Is it scrolling at the bottom?
It's not currently. Let me pause this and get that going.
He's going to pause that and get the scrolling of the 52 different creative categories of creativity. And now that's going to start scrolling at the bottom of your screen. And my life, I was not born into wealth. I was born into a very challenging circumstance, a very poor family that kept moving around and had very little resources, and there was so much dysfunction that no one noticed. I stopped going to school at 7, and so I found creativity as a resting place, a place to restore myself, and nature as a sanctuary from all of the chaos. And I've just kept it going throughout my life because it makes me happy. And that's what I most want to share with others, is what I know, which is creativity and nature is a source of replenishment that we all have. We all have an imagination, and most of us can get out into a natural place and enjoy natural harmony and the balance of nature. So that's what I want to share with everybody. So we're never too old to have fun. And the older we get, the more essential fun becomes, because of the responsibilities in life can add up and burden us. So things we can say to ourselves to counteract the negative messages we all hear, have heard, will hear, like grow up. Well, why should kids have all the fun? Just because kids do it doesn't mean it's bad. Actually, it means it's natural and necessary for our development. Something we shouldn't ever stop doing is growing, learning, expanding. Another thing we can say to ourselves, I don't have the time, I'm too busy. 5 minutes a day of creative play can keep the blues away. I've had times in my life taking care of my two nephews and my mother by myself, where 5 minutes a day was all I had for my art. But if I did it, I was happy. If I didn't do it, I wasn't happy. So it's never too late, and we can say that to ourselves. It's too late. I'm too old. But there are plenty of examples of successful creative enterprises and expressions at every age. Continuing to play, learn, and try new things helps keep the brain vital. The older we are, the more important it becomes to keep learning, keep growing. Another message we can say to ourselves, or other people have said to us, or maybe both, I'll never be good enough. Give yourself permission to be creative simply for the fun of it. Don't let anyone judge you, and just love those people that at a distance who don't support you growing. Another thing we can say or hear, it's a waste of time. We don't have to master a medium to create moving art and get positive energy from doing it. What good is creativity, we can hear or think? Well, playing creatively helps us stay positive. Playtime is serious business. Schedule some into every day. During this live stream, these live streams, we will be sharing fast, frugal, fabulous stenciling with you. Probably next Saturday, not today, because we have a lot to show you. We'll be showing you over 33 different ways we've used fun and functional stenciling here in the Emerald Lady. So we'll take you on a tour all the way through the house and show you the different ways that you can use stenciling to make your home, workplace, life more beautiful, interesting, and inspirational. So let's start with showing you these outfits. There's 7 of them here, and at this point in the year, especially this year, we're all pretty anxious for spring. It'd be nice if it was outside, but at least it can be inside. So I decided to do these 7 different flowers on these outfits. And we're going to start with this pink tulip that Bodhi's going to put up the video of me actually doing the stenciling of the pink tulip, so you can see just how fast it can happen. And you can keep these stencils, take care of them, and keep them and have them for other purposes for the rest of your life. They're delicate, but they're also made out of a piece of acetate, is the way I do them. So if you take care of them, put them away carefully, they'll last for years, for your whole life. You could even pass them on. And you can do, like you're seeing here, clothes. I've done stationery. Love pulling up the stencil. Every time it's like magic to see it happen so simply. And then you have the same design that you could use on many other surfaces besides clothes. And here's the maroon orchids. And this is a jacket as well. And all these clothes were purchased at used stores for very reasonable prices. and kept until I got an inspiration what to do with them. And that came when I realized I wanted to show stenciling and just how quick and easy. Here's the pink orchids with a matching scarf, and just how quick and easy you can put them on clothes, paper, art, walls, whatever you like, invitations, book covers. And I just love pulling up. Oh, okay, that's this stencil. So now we're going to the pink orchids. One of the things I do if I put the design on both sides is I flip it, so there's kind of a balance instead of the same direction, which means you have to clean off the paint and wait for it to dry, or dry it to flip the stencil. And when I do a scarf like this, I do it usually on all four corners going in. And there's always a little bit of variety, just like in nature. There's always a little bit of variety in nature, and that creates a visual harmony. It makes it look more natural and soothing. So let's go to the purple iris. I called this a tulip, but that's an iris too. I got confused there. So the first one was a pink iris, and this is the same stencil in purple. And I also did a scarf for that one. And as you can see, I flipped the stencil, so each side is kind of going away or back in with a sort of balance, like bookends. And with stencils, you have to be careful and delicate. You want to make sure your paint is the right viscosity, the right thickness, so that it doesn't bleed under the stencil, but it goes right where you put it. And it's best to test your paint if you're using it for the first time on something that's not precious. So we can go to the red rose. And if we're going to do something that's a beautiful silk piece of clothing like this, you want to test your paints. I don't mind the variety that happens with stenciling. To me, it makes it more aesthetically pleasing to have some variety. This particular rose in the four corners, each one is slightly different. And one of them, I would say, is classically the classic perfect rose here. But I don't mind the variety and that each one is slightly different. I think that just makes it more artistic. And when you use your stencils for your clothing, or for a duvet cover, or tablecloth, or art, but if you use it on clothes, you're creating a piece of fine art to wear, that is unique, one of a kind, and something very special that expresses your aesthetic, and it would be a treasured gift for anyone in your life. So then we have, is everything going, Mr. Technical?
It is, it's going good.
Great. So there's the rose happening there.
Yes, and what would you like next?
The next is the maroon orchids. And this is a skirt, blouse, scarf. And these silk scarves can make beautiful gifts, and you can wrap presents in them, so there's no trash. I'm very uh, inspired to have as little waste in life as possible. And so the way I do gifts is the same bags and even the same tissue papers every holiday season. And when I give gifts, I try to wrap them in something that will also be used, like these beautiful scarves. And then the last one we have hanging up here is the red chrysanthemum. After we do these, got the burgundy orchids and then the red chrysanthemum. And so there's 7 outfits that I've done since last Saturday's live stream. And next Saturday's live stream, I'm going to be doing koi fish on walls up in the 3rd floor restroom that has a water theme. So here's the mum, which is a very, very satisfying design. I draw the flowers first, and then I trace them, and I'm going to be demonstrating how to do that during these live streams. To have it be a workable stencil, the lines need to be separate, not cross over each other, so you can see how that works in these stencils. And then we have, after this mum, let's show the bamboo that I did on a raw silk, just subtle little bamboo. Once again, I flipped it so the jacket and the pants, the bamboo is going either toward each other or away from each other in a balanced way, instead of just the same pattern, same direction. I find that more aesthetically pleasing. And then the last one I'm going to show you today is the gold mum on this rust-colored robe. And showing the stenciling. So it can be very fast, but you do want to test on a piece of paper or this. And if you're doing stenciling on fabric, you want to test on fabric, preferably like the fabric you'll be stenciling on, so the way it absorbs. And you want to make sure there's not too much water if you are expanding your paints or mixing them with a little water. You want to make sure there's not too much so it doesn't bleed, but it does spread in the cutouts in the stencil properly. And that's a little bit of testing, but that's art, that's life and fun. And I find that testing on a piece of paper can make a beautiful design. Even if I randomly test, it can end up being gorgeous, something that could wrap a gift or cover a book or turn into note cards or stationery or invitations. It's fun to try to use everything and try not to waste anything. As I will show you when we do the tour of the Emerald Lady, there's ways I put my stencils, once I've used it, in a tray, and I spray it with a little water so that the paint doesn't harden onto the stencil. And then I use that water, like the gold paint, to put on my placemats or my table runners where there might have been food stains, so that it keeps looking fresh and bright, no matter how much I've used it. And the wear and tear of life in eating on them, it just adds another layer of depth and patina to the placemats, and I never I never have to trash them because they've got stains on them, because I just cover the stains. And that's how I started doing the stenciling, was to cover some stains, drawing on clothing, some beautiful clothing that had some oil stains that you can't get out. Well, I went with it. Go with it, figure out something creative and imaginative to do with it, so that you don't have to throw a beautiful piece of clothing away, or you can get wonderful fabrics, silks and linens at reasonable prices, because somebody gave it away because they didn't know what to do with it once they got a little stain, or it was just bland and they never wore it. So you can get things that use, or you can repair things that got a little rip with stencils, the little patch that has a stencil on it. So it's very practical, and it makes it completely your own and unique, and doesn't end up wasted. And we walk lighter on the earth. We're more economical and ecological when we use our imaginations to make our lives more beautiful, to enhance our lives, and to share our creativity, our aesthetic with others. So next week we'll show you a tour of the Emerald Lady, and show you how to stencil onto a wall in our third floor guest apartment. And meanwhile,
Want to show the last video with all the outfits?
oh sure, yeah, okay, one more little video, and then we will move on to here's all of the outfits up close. And it's very, very spring-like in here right now, which feels really good. And for it to snow yesterday here, but be spring inside today. And that's not an April Fool's joke. It is spring in here. And spring is coming. Keep the faith. And there's the stencils themselves. So I hope there's something here that's inspired you and given you some information and impetus to use your imaginations just to have fun, express yourself, and share your aesthetic with the world. And until next Saturday, stay curious and stay creative. Thanks for tuning in and telling your friends.
All right, y'all, turn it up.
Thanks so much. See you next Saturday at 2.
All right, ending the live stream in a moment here. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye. Have a great week.